You know, for one, asking for help. For two, being patient with my body and allowing my body to tell me when I need to lay down, you know, when I need to refuel, when I need to sit still. You know, it's definitely showing me that it knows more of what I need than my mind thinks. So I went in for the surgery on July 30th. Um, you know, I got my IVs. Um, what else did they do? Oh, she came in and she drew on my body to see exactly where my new belly button was going to be, where they were going to cut, where the flaps on my breasts were going to go. And then I went to surgery. And I wasn't really scared. I guess I was just nervous for the wake up and, you know, the pain management that I was going to be feeling. So I think for me, that was the hardest thing for me was just not knowing when I was going to wake up, what it was going to be like. And so my husband was there every step of the way, just, you know, that reassurance and letting you know it's going to be okay, you know. So I woke up and I was in pain. And when I woke up, it wasn't necessarily my breast or my stomach, it was my arms. And so I remember being in the recovery room before they take you to your room, and I was like, oh my gosh, why do my arms hurt like this? And you know, I could hear him talking. I was so grouchy though. Like the anesthesia definitely this time made me like super grouchy. Like I didn't want to be bothered. I didn't want to talk to nobody. I wanted everybody in my room to just be quiet. I was just not myself at all. And I believe they gave me some more medicine. I fell back asleep and I woke up in my room, which after the surgery, you have to stay in ICU so that they can monitor you every hour. I had the leg compressors on that make sure your blood is flowing throughout your body so that you don't get any blood clots. I also had like a bear hugger blanket on that was like a plastic blanket, but it was really warm and comforting though, actually. I also had the staff that were constantly in the room checking your flaps to make sure they're still getting good blood flow, making sure that they still have good color to them, making sure that all your vitals, and just monitoring you, you know, to make sure that everything is going well. And you know, I was half in and half out, so I guess the first night I didn't really know too much of what was going on. The next night or the next day that I woke up, they were able to kind of tell me, you know, what was going on, and come to find out, my surgery, which was supposed to take about 12 hours, turned into 15 hours. That was due to my my surgery being turned from a deep flap to a tram flap. And I believe that had to do with my blood vessels were not only tiny, they were very intertwined with my muscle. And so she thought that was the best to do, to use some of my muscle to be able to keep the blood vessels to be able to have successful flaps. And so for me, I was wondering why just my stomach was just hurting. I didn't feel like I had a lot of strength in it. And I thought it was just, you know, from just having a tummy tuck. But it makes sense now, the tram flap from the deep flap. I can't really go off of what the deep flap is because that's not what I had. However, I would say that it's probably a little easier recovery because they're just using your fat. They're not using your muscle with it. And that's the biggest difference. So my recovery is going a little bit slower. When I first looked at my breast, I was just amazed that I had breasts. Like, I couldn't believe that after 8 years, I actually had breasts. Are they perfect? They're not perfect. But I'm blessed. I'm grateful for them. I know that there's a few phases that I have to go through and I'm not expecting perfect breasts, even the ones that I had naturally before were not perfect. So I'm very grateful, to my plastic surgeon for just what she created. It is truly an art. And so in a second, I'll kind of explain to you guys, what everything is. I did wake up. I had 4 drains. I had 2 in my breast, and I had 2 in my hips. And 2 weeks out, I now have 1 drain left in my hip. The other 3 have been removed. The other one on my left hip and my breast have been removed. You have to put out less than 25 cc's, 25 to 30 cc's for them to take out your drains. And so, along with the swelling, along with the back tightness, oh my goodness, when I finally did get to, so I spent 2 days in the ICU. Then I went to the regular plastic surgery wing of the hospital. That next day, they got me up to walk. They want you to get up to walk and to let the blood flow and to, I think kind of too, just to get a baseline of how your body is healing. And that for me, that was kind of difficult for me. My back was on fire. Like I probably could make it like 10 feet before I had to stop and lean up against something, hold on to something, because your back mine is just like a tight spasm just stopped me in my tracks. Like I couldn't go any further. And that hurt, and I still deal with that. So I know that, as I was reading and as I was, trying to do research on this specific procedure, I know they had said, oh, you have a lot of back pain and tummy, your stomach is tight, and your breasts may ache. I think the biggest thing for me has been not only the tummy tightness, but also just the back spasm. Sorry, I gotta put a pillow behind my back. Okay. So I would walk. I work with the physical therapist. She was teaching me how to get out of bed. That was like the first lesson of how to, roll over on your side, kind of in fetal position, and at the same time, as you swing your legs down, someone is lifting your shoulder up so that you're able to sit upright. That hurt. That right there was major. I didn't realize the pain that could come from simply sitting up, but for me, ouch, that hurt. I think I cried the first couple times because it hurt so bad. And whew, yeah, that hurt. And so a lot of it was just training my husband. Usually it's whoever's going to be with you, training them how to help you sit up, how to help you stand up, and just how to support yourself as you walk, as you sit. So just, throughout the time, they're still checking your breast every hour with the little Doppler machine that it's actually like an ultrasound. Like when you get an ultrasound and they find the heartbeat on the baby, they're actually doing the same thing with your breast, and in that you can hear the blood flow, the gush of the blood flowing, and that was a awesome sound. So it's like every time they would come in, no matter how tired I was, no matter what I was feeling like, just to hear that gave you such a relief and like just a peace, like, okay, it's still working, the blood is still flowing, my flaps are still flowing, and it just made it like, it's working. The pain that I'm feeling, it's all working, and so yeah, that was pretty much my journey in the hospital. I was very, very constipated. I did have to get a suppository, which I felt very violated. I must add. But, it did work eventually. So, I recommend staying not only hydrated, but definitely taking a stool softener, because not only are you under anesthesia, not only are you having, narcotics, which cause constipation, but also your stomach is tight, So just a combination of that would make it so you would want to definitely make sure your bowels are moving, because that's the worst, trying to push with your stomach feeling the way it is. So I think that was the biggest hurdle, was just trying to use the bathroom and stuff. I think I was just exhausted just from the constant motion of people coming in and out of the room, and the surgery team. Everybody's coming in to make sure that you're okay. And although that's nice and appreciated, it's really hard. It's really hard to get good sleep. So that right there is the hospital saga. So moving forward, still swollen. Sorry, poop. Still swollen. Drains are absolutely annoying. I'm just gonna keep it real, because I've been over here just, driving my husband crazy because I'm in pain and these drains are getting on my last nerves. I know they're doing a job. I know your body needs them to release the fluid from the surgery. I understand that, but they hurt. And I was cool. I was like, why were they okay when I was in the hospital? But when I come home, now they really are irritating and acting up and just frustrating. On top of not being able to sit upright. On top of, just getting frustrated because you have to ask everybody to help with almost everything. Like, it was frustrating. I had to get a special tool just to wipe my butt, I mean, I guess in my mind, I maybe didn't realize how intrusive, how serious the surgery is, and how it really does affect your body. You have to have strong legs, because you cannot use your arms pretty much for anything. You have to use your legs to lift you up, lift your whole body weight to stand up. You cannot lift your arms above your head. Definitely about straight out in front of you, no higher than your shoulders. On your sides, they have to be no higher than a 45-degree angle. And so, not only do you have to remember that, because you don't want to do anything to mess up your flaps. You want to protect these like they are your baby. They are your new boobs. And you have to make sure that you do everything to make sure that they heal properly, so that you don't have any complications. For me, I actually joined a Facebook group for some women that have the same procedure going. And while that's great because you have support, it's also hard because you hear all the complications of everybody else, and it kind of makes you paranoid a little bit. So I try to, take what you can, leave the rest, because if not, it can hinder your own healing. Everybody's body is different. Everybody deals with pain different. Everybody deals with healing different. And so I have to remember that, I'm going at my own pace. I might heal in 3 weeks when someone else, it may take 6 or 7 or 8 weeks, There's some that return to work in 2 weeks and some that it takes 8 weeks. So it just depends on how your body does. Things that I've been doing to try to heal it faster are eating a lot of protein, eggs and chicken and peanut butter, and Greek yogurt has a lot of protein in it, and just finding those protein rich foods, whether it's protein drinks or shakes, just to give that extra boost to heal your muscles, to heal your body from the inside out. I also have been just taking my vitamins, my fish oil and B6 for energy, or B vitamins for energy, maintaining my B12, and vitamin D, and just whatever vitamins that you take to keep your body healthy, as you are healing up. So I guess I will show you where I am now, 2 weeks out. I'm still very swollen. Although I'm down to one drain, my drain is pretty inflamed, so I've had to tape it up just so I don't get the pulling sensation. It's more like a pinching sensation if you move wrong, and I'm just ready for this drain to come out. But like I said, they're there for a reason, and your body is getting rid of all the extra fluid, and so I believe I am on the right track. I am getting cabin fever because I've been in the house for a while, and the longest I've ever been. And so that's kind of been hard. But I have a pretty good support system that's been coming to see me and to help me and to walk my dog for me until my husband gets off. And, just so many people that have just prayed for me and just let me know that they're there if I need anything. And again, that definitely has helped my healing process. I would say that my energy on a scale of 1 to 10 is probably it's probably a 5 this week. I've actually been able to make dinner one time this week, and for me that was a huge accomplishment, because standing for more than 2 to 3 minutes is, oh man, it hurts your back, it hurts your stomach. It's taken a while to be able to stand upright. And if I notice that if I'm laying down longer, that it's harder for me to stand upright. So definitely stretching your stomach as you lay flat in the bed is important. Again, talk to your plastic surgeon and go off of their rules and regulations for your healing, not off of mine. I'm just going off of what I was told to do for my own healing. And so, yeah, I'm 2 weeks out. I'm trying to get there every day. I do feel better. I do have like a little redness on one of my flaps. I did call the plastic surgeon's office, which I've called a few times just because I don't want anything to go wrong. So I've been trying to do my part. If something doesn't feel right, if something doesn't look right, I call. Instead of just, worrying, or instead of trying to find out and do my own research, because a lot of times it's more scary than if you just call them and let them know what's going on, send them a picture so that they can see what's going on. And that definitely helps. So I will let you guys see my breast and my scars, my last drain that I have in. Let me see if I can turn my light on real quick. Hold on 1 second. Okay, it's probably a little better. So, here are my breasts. My right side is the one that I had cancer in, that was radiated. So, this is my right breast. As you can see, the flap right in the middle. This is my left breast, the non-radiated side, and you can see the little redness right there. She told me that it most likely is just my body struggling to dissolve the suture on the inside and to put a warm compress on it, and to see how that works, and if I have any, because I don't have any other symptoms as far as chills or sweating or temperature or any of that. That's why she's convinced that it is just a suture issue and not a wound issue. So I will let you see my scar and my new belly button. Ow. Still very, very tender, very tender. on top of me being a big old baby, but I swear I'm not exaggerating. It really does hurt.